Welcome back to the channel, US Rare Coins News, Top 1. Today we are talking about a coin that most people ignore, but a tiny detail on it could turn it into something collectors quietly hunt for, and yes, some versions of this coin have sold for far more than you'd expect from a simple $1 piece. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for on the 2000p gold $1, including the small features that separate a common coin from one that collectors are willing to pay serious money for. Now take a look at the coin on your screen. Zoom in slowly, rotate it under the light. This is the 2000p Sacagawea dollar, often called the golden dollar because of its color, even though it's not actually made of gold. It was introduced in the year 2000 to replace the Susan B. Anthony dollar, and it features Sacagawea carrying her infant son on the front. A design that instantly stands out from older US coins. Flip it over, you'll see a soaring eagle surrounded by stars. Simple, bold, and powerful. Now here's where things get interesting. Millions of these coins were Mediso. At first glance, it feels like there's nothing special here, but hidden among these are a few rare variations and errors that collectors go crazy for. One of the most famous is the Cheerios dollar, and this is where the story gets wild. When the coin was first released in 2000, some were placed inside Cheerios cereal boxes as a promotion, but those early coins had a slightly different eagle design on the back, with enhanced tail feathers. Zoom in right here on the tail feathers. Compare a normal coin to the rare version. That tiny difference is everything, because those Cheerios dollars have sold for thousands of dollars at auction. Now imagine finding one of those in your collection without even realizing it. But that's not the only thing to watch for. There are also strike errors, off-center coins, and coins with unusual surface finishes that can boost value. Look closely at the edges, the lettering, and the shine of the coin. Sometimes a small minting mistake can turn an ordinary coin into something collectors compete for. And don't forget the mint mark. Look just above the date, you'll see a small P for Philadelphia. Coins from this mint are common, but high-grade versions, especially ones that look almost perfect, can still carry a premium. Now here's a question for you: have you ever checked your spare change for something like this? Or do you have a Sacagawea dollar sitting somewhere right now? Because this is exactly the kind of coin people overlook, and that's what makes it exciting. You never know what you might already have. Let's talk about value. A regular 2000p Sacagawea dollar in circulated condition is usually worth around $1 to $3. Nothing crazy, but in uncirculated, high-grade condition, it can reach $10 to $50 depending on quality. And if you somehow come across a Cheerios dollar with those detailed tail feathers, those have sold for several $1,000s at auction. That's a huge jump from just $1. So the next time you see a golden dollar coin, don't ignore it. Take a closer look, check the details, because the difference between ordinary and valuable can be incredibly small. Top 2. Today we are talking about a $1 coin that looks completely ordinary, but one small detail on its edge has made some collectors stop, stare, and pay way more than $1 for it. And here's the crazy part: most people never even check that part of the coin. Stay with me, because I'm going to show you exactly what makes the 2010 Sacagawea golden dollar interesting, the hidden features most people miss, and the specific errors and conditions that can turn this into a collectible piece. By the end, now bring the coin up on screen. Slow close-up, let the light hit it. This is the 2010 Native American dollar. Same golden color people often mistake for real gold, but it's actually a manganese brass alloy. In the front, you'll see Sacagawea with her child. Strong, calm, iconic. But flip it over, this is where 2010 stands out. Zoom in on the reverse, you'll see a Native American woman planting seeds, with corn, beans, and squash growing around her. This design represents agriculture and the three sisters farming method used by Native American tribes. It's not just a coin, it's a piece of history. Now here's where things start getting interesting. Most people check the front, some check the back, almost nobody checks the edge. Rotate the coin slowly, extreme close-up on the edge. This coin has edge lettering, and that includes the year, the mint mark, D, for Denver, and the motto, E pluribus unum. But sometimes that edge lettering goes wrong, and when it does, collectors pay attention. There are coins out there with missing edge lettering, completely blank edges. Others have doubled or weak inscriptions, and a few are even misaligned. Imagine pulling a coin from your pocket and realizing the edge is totally blank. It doesn't look dramatic at first, but in the coin world, that's a big deal. And here's the twist: these errors aren't always easy to spot. You have to actually look for them, which means some of them are still out there unnoticed. Now let's talk about condition. Bring two coins side by side on screen, one worn, one shiny and perfect. A circulated 2010 dollar might look dull, scratched, and very common, but a high-grade, uncirculated coin, one with sharp details, clean surfaces, and strong edge lettering. That's where collectors start to care, especially coins graded MS65 or higher. And here's something a lot of people don't realize: even without errors, certain high-quality examples from Denver can sell for a premium simply because they're well preserved. But if you combine that with an error, now you've got something people actively hunt for. So let me ask you this: have you ever actually checked the edge of a coin before, or do you usually just glance at the front and move on? Because coins like this reward people who take that extra second. Now let's talk real numbers. A regular 2010 Native American dollar in everyday condition is usually worth $1 to $3, and uncirculated, high-grade example can sell for around $5 to $20 depending on quality. But if you find one with a clear edge lettering error, like a missing inscription, those can sell anywhere from $50 to a few $100s, depending on how strong and rare the error is. Nothing exaggerated, but definitely worth checking your coins for. And the best part is, these coins are still relatively modern, which means they can still show up in circulation, collections, or even old coin jars. So next time you see a golden dollar, don't just look at the front and stop at the back, check the edge. That's where the real story is hiding. Top 3. Today we are talking about a tiny gold coin, so small it could slip through your fingers, yet some of these have sold for thousands of dollars, and most people wouldn't even recognize one if they saw it. And here's the part that makes it even more interesting: these coins were made right after the Civil War, during one of the most important rebuilding periods in American history. Stay with me, because I'm going to show you what makes the 1865 to 1869 gold $1 special, the details collectors obsess over, and the hidden factors that can turn this tiny coin into something seriously valuable. Now bring the coin up on screen, tight close-up, let it fill the frame. This is the Type 3 gold dollar minted from 1856 to 1889, but today we're focusing on the post-Civil War years, 1865 through 1869. Look at the front, you'll see Lady Liberty wearing a Native American-style headdress. The word Liberty is written across it. Tilt the coin slowly under the light, notice how small it is, barely about 13 millimeters across. That size is part of the story. People back then actually complained about how easy these were to lose, and many were melted down or simply disappeared over time. Now flip it over, you'll see a wreath surrounding the words $1 and the year. Simple design, but elegant. And right here is where things start to get interesting, because not all of these coins are equal. Some were minted in Philadelphia with no mint mark, others came from places like San Francisco and carry a small S on the reverse. Zoom in right under the wreath. That tiny letter can make a big difference in value, especially for certain years where mintages were low. Now think about this for a second: these coins were circulating right after the Civil War, a time when the U.S. economy was recovering, rebuilding, and changing fast. Gold coins like this weren't just money, they were a sign of stability. But because they were so small and made of real gold, many didn't survive, which is why collectors today hunt for them. Now let's talk about conditions. How two examples side by side, one worn, one sharp and detailed. A heavily circulated coin might have faded details, a smooth surface, and less eye appeal, but a well-preserved coin, with sharp lettering, clear facial features, and original shine, that's where the value jumps. And here's a detail most beginners miss: look closely at the headdress on Liberty. Those feathers should be crisp and defined. If they are, you might be looking at a higher grade coin, but if they're worn flat, the value drops. Now here comes another twist: some of these coins have subtle minting quirks, things like weak strikes, die cracks, or slightly off-center designs. Not all of these increase value, but certain visible and well-defined errors can make a coin more desirable. And because these coins are so old, even small differences matter. Which brings me to this: how often do you really study a coin this closely, or do you just look at the date and move on? Because with coins like this, the smallest detail can change everything. Now let's talk real value. In 1865 to 1869 gold $1 in lower circulated condition can sell for around $200 to $400, depending on the year and mint. In better condition, with stronger details, prices can range from $500 to over $1,000. And for high-grade, well-preserved examples, especially from lower mintage years or desirable mint marks, auction prices can reach several $1,000s, all from a coin smaller than a dime. So the next time you see an old gold coin, don't underestimate its size. Doesn't mean anything here. These little pieces carry history, rarity, and real value. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever seen a gold dollar this small in real life, or which coin would you love to add to your collection someday? Top 4. Today we are looking at one of the smallest gold coins ever made in the United States, a coin so tiny that people used to lose it in their pockets, yet today, some of these have sold for thousands of dollars and collectors still hunt for them like treasure. And here's what makes this even better. This coin was born during the California gold rush, a time when gold was flooding into the country and changing everything. Stay with me, because I'm going to show you why the 1849 to 1850 gold $1 is so special, the tiny details that make a huge difference, and how one small variation can take this coin from a few $100s to something much more valuable. Now bring the coin up on screen, tight zoom, fill the frame. This is the very first official gold dollar ever issued by the United States, introduced in 1849. Right at the peak of the California gold rush. Look at the front, you'll see Lady Liberty facing left, surrounded by stars. Simple, classic, and very different from later designs. Tilt the coin slowly, notice how small and thin it is, around 13 mm. It almost looks like a toy coin, but it's real gold, and that tiny size actually caused problems. People complained constantly they were easy to drop, easy to lose, and hard to handle, which is exactly why so many didn't survive. Now flip it over, you'll see a wreath with the words United States of America around it and right in the center. $1 with the date below. Clean design. But here's where things start to get interesting, because not all 1849 coins are the same. There are two major types. Zoom in closer on the $1. On some coins, the 1 is open, meaning it doesn't have a full closed shape. In others, it's closed. That tiny difference is one of the most famous varieties in early US coinage, and collectors pay serious attention to it. Now here's the part that surprises a lot of people. Some of the 1849 coins were struck in very small numbers, and a few extremely rare pieces were even minted in gold from specific sources, making them historically unique. Then comes 1850. Bring both years side by side on screen. The design is similar, but mint marks start to matter more. You've got coins from Philadelphia with no mint mark and coins from New Orleans with an O. Zoom in under the wreath. That little O can change the entire value of the coin, because New Orleans mintages were often lower, and survival rates were even lower. Now think about the journey of one of these coins. It could have passed through the hands of miners, traders, or merchants during one of the most exciting gold booms in history, and over time, many were melted, lost, or damaged, which is why finding one today in good condition is a big deal. Now let's talk about what to look for. Bring a close-up of Liberty's face. You want to check the hair details, the stars around the edge, and the overall sharpness. In the reverse, look at the wreath. Are the leaves clear, or worn? Flat? Small details like that separate an average coin from a valuable one. And here's something a lot of people miss, because these coins are so small, even light wear can have a big impact. So high-grade examples are much harder to find than you'd expect, which brings us to value. A typical 1849 or 1850 gold dollar in circulated condition can sell for around $200 to $500 depending on the type and mint. In better condition, with stronger details, prices often range from $600 to $1,500. And for high-grade coins, or rare varieties like the open or closed one, auction prices can climb into the several thousands, all from a coin that many people would overlook because of its size. So let me ask you, if you found a tiny gold coin like this, would you recognize what it is, or would you just assume it's something small and ordinary? Because coins like this prove something important. The smallest coins can carry the biggest stories. If you enjoyed this, hit like, drop a comment, and tell me which coin you'd love to own, and subscribe for more videos that show you hidden value in coins most people ignore. And trust me, some of the most valuable coins in the world are the ones people almost throw away.